Okay, so yes, I'm autistic, and sometimes I used to, my hobby was to teach grappling and martial arts, and we have today one of my students. Yeah. So tell us a little bit. When did you start training?
I started training Muay Thai first. I got into martial arts in Muay Thai. I started Muay Thai in, like 2013. I just matriculated. And then I started Muay Thai. That's my first discipline that I started. And then about a year after I did Muay Thai, I just fell in love with the whole combat sports. And then eventually I started doing grappling classes, MMA classes. And I think that was 2015 you moved to Cape Town, huh?
Yeah, I moved here into 2016.
2016.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was training for about 3 years already that time, before you came to Cape Town. And then when you came, we started the grappling in Scout Canal there by you.
So how was that experience for you? Did you do grappling somewhere else before that?
Yeah, I did by Impact Academy of Martial Arts. That's in Claremont, on top of Stadium of Mine. So that's where I started.
Ah, that time it was the guy. I don't remember his name now. Irshad. He also there.
Yeah, I did one seminar with him. I did one seminar with him there. That's when he just came for a seminar. He was fighting in the EFC that time.
Yes, I remember Irshad. When I was living in Switzerland, I found out about him. A South African who was doing martial arts, and I discovered he was also married to a Swiss person like me.
Yeah.
And that was interesting. But he wasn't. He was living, I think, in Singapore.
And then I think he's staying in New Zealand now.
I don't know where he is now, but then he was in Singapore, and he was he still fought in China, and then
Yeah.
afterwards he came to Cape Town and fought in the EFC.
For the EFC.
And that's when you met him.
Yeah, I met him. But the reason why I also went to his seminar, because when I started Muay Thai, I started also it was by his mother's house. When I started Muay Thai, it was White Tiger Muay Thai, so it was by his mother's house.
Oh, okay.
So when I just learned about him, found out about him, that he was actually quite successful and accomplished fighter, and then when I saw he was coming down in the EFC, I decided to do a seminar with him.
And how was that seminar?
It wasn't basically like things that I didn't know. It was like basic knowledge of martial arts that I did already, but it was just the experience of getting to know him and getting to train with a pro fighter like himself. So that was quite interesting.
So what was your the most important or the main reason why you liked the whole fighting business?
I don't really know why I really got into, but I was going through a lot that time when I was busy with Muay Thai, with like personal things going on in my life, and then that was just like an escape for me. That was my escape.
Your escape. So do you want to mention some example of some personal things, or is it too personal?
Yeah, that is a bit too personal, but one of the small reasons was I failed matric, but I didn't have a matric at that time, so I couldn't really find a job like anyone else who would study further. So that's also one of the reasons why I found combat sports, because I was looking for a club that time.
So I know in your family, because that you have ADHD, and maybe that was probably one of the reasons why you struggle with matric or school.
Possibly because it wasn't just matric. I failed grade 11 also before that.
Yeah.
So I failed grade 11, and then I did grade 11 over, and then I did my matric, and then I had to write two subjects like twice. Thrice. I didn't even get it the first time.
So I also found out recently that I have ADHD, which I didn't realize that the problem with ADHD, which I found out, it's like a time issue. It's as if that we can't do things unless there's a very short amount of time left. So what happens is I can't study like when it's far away, if it's a task that must happen next week, it's like it's not real. Only things that's really close feel real. And then when you leave all the stuff for the last minute, you can't catch up.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you had
like
something like that?
Under pressure. Not really, because when I was in school, I didn't really even study. I didn't take schooling
So you
seriously. I was just like,
also you never even studied at the end.
no, I didn't study at all. I never studied. It was just basically like basic knowledge. That's how I passed.
So what was your reason why you didn't think that you must study?
I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was done with school. That was maybe one of the big things, because I didn't just have like any motivation. I didn't have a specific goal that I set out for myself. It was just like I was just going with the flow and being that naughty.
What do you think was driving you? What was who were your role models that made you feel that that's how the way to go is just get up and have no direction every day?
I didn't really have any motivation when I was in school. It was just like just playing a whole victim mentality and
Victim? What do you mean?
just playing victim mentality, like
You played the victim.
yeah.
And what you were a victim of what?
Nah, it was just like a lot going on in my personal life at that time.
Okay, so there was things going on.
Things going on, and that I couldn't. It wasn't really my own fault, and I didn't also want to blame it on myself. But I was just playing the victim mentality the whole time. That's how it seems now.
So when you started your training, so did you feel that you could escape and you felt like something?
Yeah, that gave me at least like some purpose. The combat sport, it gave me like a nice purpose when I started. It gave me, I was more focused. I was looking forward to training. It gave me like some purpose in my life. It felt like for the first time, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
And then I came along and I was a coach for a short time. And how was that experience?
Nah, it was good. I was actually quite excited, because you were my uncle and also black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I was very excited to train with a family member.
And how was that? Do you remember anything in the lessons?
Yeah, no, it was a good experience, because you basically you didn't treat me like your nephew or anything. I was basically just like part of the other students, and I think you were basically actually more harsh on me because I was your family. It was a good experience, and I learned a lot.
Do you have an example of like how I was harsh?
Uh,
You can say it. I'm not worried. I'm not gonna get angry.
No, I don't know. There wasn't like a specific example that I can give. It's just like, yeah.
I can remember one thing how you got like kind of sometimes you used to get hyper excited.
Yeah.
And like you have like a little bit of anger management.
Yeah, that was something
Anger
that
management
I
issues.
struggled with when I started training and with it. But that actually I calmed down like after, what was that, like 2019? No, not actually 2019, I'm lying. Maybe like 2020 around, or 2021, around that time, when I actually started like getting more calmer in sparring, in my training, and not being so over emotional.
So do you think the way I dealt with your like anger issue, did it make you worse, more angry, or did it calm you a little bit down?
No, eventually I actually found out why you actually have to be more calm in sparring and in training, because in a fight you don't want to overexert yourself and get too tired too quickly. So you start to understand why you have to just,
Why I was focusing so much on calm down.
yeah, on being more cool, calm, and collected. You just see things more better as well.
So why would you think that like initially you were just training and you thought it was aggression and you thought you must fight like this and you thought that's a real fight, it's aggression, but you realized afterwards that the real fights are not like that.
Yeah.
You have to be,
Basically,
you have to plan it and be prepared.
and you also have to know you could go the distance. You could be fighting for a very long time, and if you're over aggressive, you just can't keep that pace up for 15, 25 minutes.
So where are you now at this point?
Currently, I've stopped. I'm not training now for what? It's been a year since I did that classes with you. So yeah, it's been about a year that I'm not training now.
And do you have a plan to go back sometime?
Possibly in the future, but maybe by next year or so, in some time.
Because you said at the start you did this because you needed an escape because there was bad things happening. So are you saying you're in a better space now? That you don't need so much that fighting thing to get away anymore. So you
possibly because I'm using. I do have like other things that I'm using my time with and focusing on. So at that time, that was basically my only escape that I had. So I started working on like business things, and that took my focus away from, not away, but it gave me other purpose also in my life.
damn, was that
Kill shot.
a kill shot? You know, sometimes in this area, because we live in we live in a country, a city that has sometimes, and a few times there was some gunshots here.
That's actually, it was actually just made me realize, but I think it was like 3 or 4 months back. It was like late already, 1 o'clock the night, or 2 o'clock the night. And I was just laying in my bed, I think I was on my phone. But then I just heard just like that now, it was like 4, 5 or 6 of that big shots at the head. And I was like, fuck, what's that? And then I was like, okay, no, maybe it's like clappiches or something.
Yeah.
And then the next day, they found actually someone dead.
Oh,
Like,
damn.
like literally opposite the house, in the bush. They shot him in his face 6 times.
Oh my.
So that shot that I was at that night was basically they shot someone dead at that time.
Oh, Graham. So you grew up in an environment where those kind of things happen?
Yeah, that's normal for me. Like since I was 13 or 14, I went to Spine, Rhode Island. That's actually the first time that I actually started seeing a lot of violence. Like, just like normal for me to just see one of my friends getting stabbed every day. It was like.
Was that at the school?
Yeah,
or around the school?
On the school. On the school. I used to see that like on a daily. People after school, gangsters, they shooting at each other. Sometimes they want to stab my friends, or there was one time that I actually saw they stab one of my friends in the arm, and they left a knife in his arm, so I had to walk with the knife in, and they had to take that knife out.
Was this part of the reason why you struggled to study at school or have direction?
That was possibly when things went a bit bad for me, because I started like being around like bad environment, and yeah, it actually brought to actually quite aggressive side also out to me. Maybe that's also why I was like I think training at first.
Hectic. But I think that sound we heard now was not a gunshot.
No, that definitely was. That sounded like a car or something.
Yeah, because when it's a gunshot, there's like a double sound.
Yeah.
It's like a deda.
Yeah,
crazy, and it's a bit louder. It's like, only in Cape Town we can talk about this like it's kind of normal, because I think it's like almost every suburbs in the Cape Flats where we come from, you hear this all the time.
Yeah.
But it's like strange, if you go to the white areas, you don't hear this.
No,
they live in a different world.
Yeah, no.
It's like, what world is that? It's a kind of a world which is supposed to be like what we're supposed to have. It's supposed to be the norm.
Yeah.
But in our communities,
unfortunately, that's just
doesn't
things that we had to go through and grow up with.
I mean, even me when I was a kiddie, like in this region, I mean, I was stabbed and beaten, and I wasn't shot, but I was stabbed.
No, I was in plenty of fights, especially when I was going up in my high school, like just crazy fights with knuckle busters. I remember this one fight, my whole face was bleeding. This one guy had a knuckle buster, and it was just crazy. There was a few of that fights that just.
And did you stop when they start hitting you, or
no?
And what goes through your mind?
At that time, you just in a survival, you just have to fight back.
And when you were fighting in like a amateur MMA competition, is the feeling in that fight, was it similar to the feeling in the fights when you were like just fighting wildly in school? Or is it the...
Yeah, it's basically the same feeling. You still get that same nerves, you still get that same butterflies, you're still going through the same thing. It's just obviously in a fight, in an amateur MMA fight or in any MMA fight, it's just way more dangerous. And you're fighting against a skilled opponent that actually knows how to fight, whereas in the road you don't really know what the other person's capable of.
But I would say in the road it's more dangerous, don't you think?
Yeah,
I mean,
possibly because with weapons and
there's nobody stopping when you lose.
Yeah, and also
they might just continue.
You never know, someone else could also come behind you and throw the bottle over your head, or they stab you, or...
I mean, in an MMA fight, at least the referee's gonna stop it, and there's doctors and everything, but
Yeah, but
on the
it's
street there's nothing.
No, definitely.
There's no like, okay, now that you have lost, now we can stop.
Yeah, no, that shit keeps going.
You. Did you actually see anybody get killed?
No.
No.
I think the worst thing was basically just gunshots, and when I saw my friend getting stabbed that day, and it wasn't just one time. It was actually like a normal thing that I just used to watch people getting stabbed every day after school, or even during the school.
And that's Spinal.
That was Spinal.
And my daughters went to that school.
No, actually, the time I was there, it was crazy.
Were you there before them?
Yeah. So the time your daughters and my sisters was there, it was completely changed. Like they got rid of all the gangsterism and everything off that school. So before that, when I was there, that was when it was really crazy. Yeah.
I can remember my daughter. I mean, she saw once, like, but not on the school, behind the school.
Oh, okay, there's the train,
yeah,
the
and that's like she saw behind the school, she heard some gunshots, and
yeah.
she saw some people chasing some people, and one guy falling down, and
yeah, but that's like absolutely normal, especially in Mitchell's Plain. Where Spiner dies, they'll literally shoot you over 1 rand later. Just.
Nice. When you used to travel to school, how did you go?
I went to the taxi.
With the taxi,
yeah.
And how was that?
That was actually fun. I enjoyed it because that time I was like, young. So you're just like having fun that time. The taxi has loud music. You just like with your friends. So it was fun.
So now, coming back to now, so now you have a more direction and you don't need to escape so much. So what is like a day for you like nowadays?
Jeez, I just focus basically all my time now is the past year has just been focused on stock trading, learning financial markets, what's going on with finances, what's going on in the world.
Wow, that sounds interesting. I mean, like it's like in trading, do you think there's like a chance to make like real money?
Yeah, you can make like a lot of money, especially with the leverage that the brokerage gives you. You can make a lot of money with trading if you have the right skills.
So is this something you would suggest like some people learn, like
if they have a job and they maybe have other source of income? That I wouldn't suggest like a sole source of income specifically from trading, because it is so difficult and hard to make that breakthrough, because once you have that breakthrough everything is okay, but getting that breakthrough is what's the hardest part, I think, actually.
The hardest part.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's get back, like, I know my channel is apparently about autism. So just again, do you remember anything like, I know in your family it's kind of normal to have autistic people around you. Your uncle is autistic, your mother is autistic, and your auntie. So, and if you see me as autistic too, you don't even notice that it's strange.
Nah, for me it's like normal really.
So maybe even you on like the neurodiverse, because your father's ADHD, so it's like genetic.
It could possibly be like I could have like some genetics on my dad that have like ADHD.
Yeah. So you didn't even notice anything different about my style or anything?
Nah, for me it's just like
it's like no, we're a mutation of the same species.
Yeah,
like because if you talk to other people, they're always like, oh no, he's like a bit strange.
Yeah. Now that I'm like so used to it is because with my uncle I could always like see there was like maybe something a bit off with him, but we always had like that nice connection that I could talk to him, and it was nice. So I still talk to him and everything. It doesn't like change anything about him or how I feel about him.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we must take a pause now because my nose is leaking.
And I think I need to smoke also now.